Everybody, this is Craig from 9 Volt Games, and today I want to talk about Undertale. More specifically, why I love Undertale. This is the only hard copy I got, by the way, so that's the only one I can show you. I have it digitally on PS4, and I have it on PC, and I beat it on all of them. I beat it on everything. All 3 times, I've gotten all 3 endings, which is phenomenal for me, especially if you know this channel. I don't really particularly like playing games on PC, but I used to not be as much into indie games as I am now, and I would say that Undertale was one of the games, because I got Undertale on PC when it first came out. Undertale was one of the games that kind of opened me up to exploring more indie games. I would take the indie games that were popular and had the name recognition, like Braid and stuff, but Undertale came along and it was a game that someone actually gave to me on PC. I didn't buy it on PC. They gave it to me with a bunch of other games that they ripped from their Steam. And the thing I liked about it, it felt like an old RPG that was set in a modern time. And I don't know, it felt like, it felt relatable, with the characters. Each character represented something different. All right, so I don't want to give away much of the story because I know some of you actually have messaged me saying, I just picked up Undertale and I haven't played it yet. Someone actually just messaged me that like 2 days ago. So I don't want to go into too great a detail of the story, but I mean, essentially they tell you right in the beginning. The kid falls down into, the underworld, and that's when the Undertale begins, and they want to take the kid's soul so that all the demons can run free, or the monsters can run free in the human world. And they've already collected other kids' souls, and they just need to kill him. And basically, your actions throughout the game and how you treat the characters, even though it looks like such an old-style, simplistic game, it actually weighs heavily on the ending. Now, you can go through, this was my favorite part, this is what hooked me, and I didn't understand it at first, so when I played through, I got the genocide route. I killed everything. You don't have to kill anything in the game. You can actually befriend the enemies, and you befriend them, you do whatever they want in their command, so you can talk to them during the battle. If you say the right things, they'll be calmed, they won't really attack you, and you can pardon them. And then when you get to the end of the game, whatever you pardon will come help you, and that applies to bosses throughout the game, because some of the bosses are just, they're ridiculous, and they're fun characters, and they're very well-developed characters. You don't actually want to see them die, so you want to see it through. So that's one aspect I liked about it that I didn't get at first. It took me one playthrough, and then each one I've done for Undertale, I've done the pacifist playthrough every time, PS4 and then Switch, and then I do the mixed and then the genocide route. And the genocide route's final boss is fucking ridiculous. So I'm not going to spoil it for you, but if you're not going to play the game, just Google genocide route boss, and it'll tell you who the boss is, and watch the battle. It's fucking insane. It doesn't matter how many times you die, you keep coming back and he'll keep reminding you how many times that you fucking died. So it's little things like that. And they have these, I think they call them I think they're called fun switches. And there's switches, within the game data that every time you start a game, it flips different ones. So you won't necessarily see some of the things that I see. And there's a lot of lore within the game that you could look at online after you've beaten it, and you can see things that you were like, I played through the game. I've played through the game 9 times, and I have yet to see Gaster, which is a character that it randomly pops up. I think it's like a 1 in 100 chance, and I haven't gotten it. I've gotten certain things. One of the times I played through on PS4, I couldn't even find the dog shrine. It wasn't in my game, and that's how you platinum it. So I had to get it in another playthrough. So there's little things that change, and there's different things that you can find within different ways of playing it. So it's a 5-hour game, essentially, and you're going to be playing the game for 5 hours, but then you're going to go back and you're going to want to see another way it's done. And I've actually played through the PS4 version 4 times, because I did another pacifist run. It's like a refresher, because I took a year off of playing it, and I still saw things that I don't normally see. It was awesome. I appreciate the little details in games. It makes all the difference. It shows care. And the fact that this game was, there are other people who were involved in conversions and stuff, but this game was essentially made by one dude, Toby Fox. And he did the games, he did the music. By the way, this guy's a musical genius. All of the themes in this, there are heavy metal versions on YouTube. You need to check these out. I think it's from EB, or Rashad EB. Check out that guy's music. It's phenomenal. It's also on Spotify. But the themes that they had for each character totally match. And I got a little nervous when I heard about Deltarune, which is, it's just Undertale rearranged, Deltarune. And that's actually, you can download that for free right now. It utilizes the same characters, 2 new main characters, well, 3, really, kind of, without spoiling anything, but 2 new main characters that you play as in Deltarune, at least in part 1. And you'll see the other characters within Undertale, and they're put in, and the game is so familiar as Undertale, but it's a completely different thing. So if you're going to go for a route to have a sequel of a game where Undertale is completely self-contained, and it's satisfying when you get all 3 endings, and there's nothing more that you could really want from it. The fact that they're continuing it in the same vein, and it still has the same feel, and then everything's completely different. Like I was super excited for the next part of Deltarune. They did such an amazing job with it. This one was more fantasy, whereas Deltarune is more of escapism, like 2 kids who have a home life that they don't like when they're playing pretend, because that's essentially what they're doing in Deltarune. Shouldn't have said that if I wanted you to play the game. Anyways, whatever. It's 2 kids playing pretend, and one's a bully and one's the bullied kid. And you get to see their perspective throughout how they would handle a situation if they were plunged into the underworld. And I think they handled it very well, because then you come out of it, fuck it, I'll just ruin Deltarune for everybody. It's free, it's not like you paid for it, whereas Undertale you could have paid for it. When you come out of Deltarune, you're back in the real world, and you're seeing all the people, and they're talking to you, and they're excited to see your brother come back, and your character's not excited for his brother to come back because he's nervous. And then you can't find Susie's house, even though she wants to go home, and her home life is terrible because she was eating chalk in the school because she was so hungry. And then when they were in the underworld, all that she was talking about was eating things, eating people's faces, eating monsters' faces, stealing the cake from somebody. So I really wanted to see what her home life was like, whereas you already got to see Chris's home life. So it makes me excited for part 2, because I know that's going to be a giant part of it. So like I said, there's little nuances, and each character represented something in Undertale, whereas Deltarune, it's represented something that they actually put in front of your face, so it wasn't assumed. And I appreciated that tremendously. Separating the games out as 2 entities is not even possible anymore. These games are one, and I think they're doing an amazing job. I'm excited for it. So if you never played Undertale, just the complete package will make you feel good about playing it. It made me feel like games I played when I was a kid. And I don't often just buy a game and then sit through it and play it, especially multiple times, because I don't have the time anymore. But this is one that was just perfectly length. It's a 5-hour RPG. I'm telling you, you're going to come out of it feeling good. You're going to feel like that nostalgic feeling you got when you were playing a Super Nintendo RPG or something. And it's compacted in. My kid can play it, but it warns right on the back that, the reading level is high. Some of the sarcasm and jokes might go over kids' heads, so it's not really suitable for children, even though it has that appearance. It's definitely more of a adult game. At least I think you could appreciate it more when you're a little bit older, of the background themes of everything. But it's layered, and I like stuff like that, because it is inclusive, but it's still enough to grab you and suck you in. And like I said, I'd like video game characters. To me, like they're just digitized people, but I care about the characters in this game, and you will too when you play the game. You have conversations with them. So they did a fantastic job in pretty much every aspect. I don't give scores, but if I gave scores, that shit would get a perfect 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. 4 Rapples. I have no idea what the fuck you want to rate it. It's an awesome game. I definitely get my stamp of approval. And as far as like indie games go, this game is a god tier status, and it's there for a reason. Don't let overhype ruin it for you. It's definitely worth anything that you've heard, and you're gonna love it. So try out Undertale. I absolutely love it. It's a staple in my house. Obviously, I got it twice over, and then went and bought a hard copy on Switch, and I beat every one of them. And that's saying something for me, because I have a huge fucking backlog of games. So check out Undertale. You might like it. Thank you guys for watching.